The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly wasn't just a Western, it was a battlefield of chaos, danger, and accidents that could have killed its stars. Behind the dusty gunfights and sweeping desert vistas, the production teetered on disaster. Near-death stunts, explosions gone wrong, and music that rewrote film history. Today, we're digging deep into 20 weird facts about the good, the bad, and the ugly. And trust me, the bonus fact will leave you stunned. Let's draw. 1. Eli Wallach's three brushes with death playing Tuco wasn't just acting, it was survival. Eli Wallach nearly died 3 times during production. First, he accidentally drank acid that had been poured into a soda bottle for prop work. Then, in a hanging scene, a spooked horse dragged him nearly a mile with the noose still tight. Finally, in the train sequence, Wallach lay on the tracks, unaware that protruding iron steps could have decapitated him if he lifted his head an inch. It wasn't method acting. It was sheer luck that saved his life. What audiences saw as gritty realism was, in truth, a man literally dodging death for the sake of cinema. 2. The bridge. That blew up twice. The most expensive mistake in the film involved a bridge that vanished before cameras rolled. Leone coordinated with the Spanish army to rig real explosives. The code word V was supposed to trigger detonation only on his command. But a crewman casually said the word over radio chatter, and boom, the bridge exploded with no film to capture it. Leone was furious. The guilty man fled the set, and soldiers rebuilt the bridge from scratch. Only then could Leone get his shot. It wasn't movie magic. It was real military-grade destruction done twice because of one misplaced word. 3rd, a car in the Wild West. Leone fought for authenticity, yet a glaring mistake slipped through. During the final cemetery showdown, sharp-eyed viewers can spot a car casually driving in the background. This anachronism shattered the illusion of Civil War America, sneaking 20th century technology into the West. Why didn't they reshoot? Budget and time. Leone's long takes were notoriously costly, and restarting would have meant rebuilding the elaborate standoff. Instead, the car stayed. A ghostly reminder that perfection in cinema is an illusion. What should have been timeless frontier drama was photobombed by modern reality. 4. Eastwood almost walked away. Clint Eastwood nearly quit the film that cemented his legend. Reading the script, he saw Tuco had all the dialogue and Angel Eyes had the menace, leaving Blondie, the supposed hero, as a quiet background presence. Furious, Eastwood told Leone, "In the first film, I was alone. In the second, we were 2. Here we are 3. If it goes on this way, in the next one, I'll be starring with the American cavalry." His agents had to smooth negotiations, convincing him to stay. Audiences saw Eastwood's stoic cowboy, but behind the camera, he was seconds away from abandoning the role forever. 5. The dog that wasn't in the script. In Tuco's frantic cemetery run, emotion risked tipping into melodrama. Leone spotted the problem and improvised. Without warning, he ordered a stray dog released onto the set. The animal bounded into frame, startling Wallach, whose reaction of confusion was entirely real. That unscripted moment kept the scene raw and grounded. It wasn't in the script. It was instinct, a director's gamble that worked perfectly. What audiences thought was symbolic chaos was really just a dog Leone unleashed at the last second. 6. The title that got lost in translation. The film we know as The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly wasn't always called that. In Italian, Sergio Leone titled it Il Buono, Il Brutto, Il Cattivo, literally, the good, the ugly, the bad. US distributors flipped the order, believing good, bad, ugly sounded smoother in English. But this shuffle caused chaos. Early American trailers even mislabeled characters. Angel Eyes was called the ugly, Tuco the bad. Marketing, not artistry, decided the title we chant today. What feels eternal was really a compromise, a rhythm chosen by executives far from the desert set. 7th, a cemetery built like a Roman circus. That vast sea of graves wasn't just a backdrop, it was architecture with purpose. Leone wanted the showdown to echo gladiator combat, so he tasked hundreds of Spanish soldiers to build the cemetery like an ancient Roman circus, circular and tiered like an amphitheater. Every cross, Every gravestone was deliberately placed to mimic arena seating. The dead weren't just scenery. They were spectators. Morricone's score even mimicked ghostly laughter, as if the corpses themselves were watching. The finale wasn't a Western standoff. It was a gladiator's duel staged before the silent audience of eternity. 8. Morricone's coyote howl trick. That iconic wail that opens the film wasn't a coyote. It wasn't even an instrument. It was two men in a studio, one singing ah, the other e, in falsetto, layered together to create an unearthly howl. Morricone wanted raw animal violence expressed through sound, and he invented it on the spot. Audiences swore it was a coyote echoing across the desert. In truth, it was human voices bent into something primal. Not nature, but invention. Not wilderness, but studio artifice that became one of cinema's most imitated sounds. 9. Music before the camera rolled. Leone and Morricone broke Hollywood rules. Normally, music comes last, written to fit the picture. Here, it came first. Morricone composed entire themes before shooting began, and Leone blasted them from speakers on set. Actors moved to the rhythm. Camera pans followed crescendos. Cuts synced to notes. The cemetery duel wasn't edited to music. It was filmed to it. The result was a fusion where image and sound felt inseparable. What audiences thought was coincidence was, in fact, choreography between lens and orchestra. Cinema became symphony. 10th. Tuco's golden improvised line. In the bathtub scene, a one-armed gunman delivers a long speech about vengeance. In the script, Tuco was supposed to banter back, but Eli Wallach decided otherwise. He simply pulled a hidden gun, shot the man mid-monologue, and quipped, "When you have to shoot, shoot. Don't talk." The crew erupted in laughter. Leone instantly kept it. That unscripted moment became one of the greatest Western lines ever spoken. Not penned by screenwriters, but born from an actor's wit. Before we move on, go ahead and like and subscribe because just like Tuco's line, the best surprises in this story are yet to come, and you won't want to miss them. 11. 3 characters. 3 instruments. Morricone didn't just score music, he scored personality. He used the same melody for all 3 leads but gave each a different instrument. Blondie's theme played on a flute. Smooth, steady, disciplined. Angel Eye's theme hissed through an ocarina. Hollow, menacing, inhuman. Tuco? His was sung by human voices. Chaotic, emotional, unpredictable. The melody stayed the same, but its meaning shifted depending on who was on screen. It was a musical thesis. 3 men, 1 story, different masks. Audiences thought they heard 3 separate themes. What they didn't know was that Morricone tied all 3 fates together with a single tune disguised in 3 voices. It wasn't just scoring. It was character psychology written in sound waves. 12. The prequel nobody noticed. Though it released last, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is actually a prequel. Leone scattered clues. The Civil War setting predates the towns of the earlier films. Characters act younger and less seasoned, and most telling. Blondie acquires his poncho only in the final scene. That poncho, his trademark in a fistful of dollars, and for a few dollars more, was missing until this story's end. Audiences assumed they were watching the trilogy's conclusion. In truth, they were witnessing its beginning. Leone didn't announce it, but the visual storytelling whispered it clearly. What felt like a finale was really an origin story. A trick that made the trilogy feel circular, eternal, as if Eastwood's drifter had always wandered the West, caught in a loop. 13th. Bronson's double refusal. Charles Bronson could have reshaped cinema history. Leone first offered him Angel Eyes, the cold mercenary role that went to Lee Van Cleef. Bronson turned it down for The Dirty Dozen. Leone then offered him Tuco, thinking Bronson's toughness could anchor the comedy. Bronson rejected that too, disinterested in playing loud and emotional. Imagine the film without Wallach's manic energy, or Van Cleef's icy menace. 2 characters born from Bronson's absence. Casting isn't just choice. It's destiny. Bronson's no sealed the film's yes. What audiences saw as chemistry between Eastwood, Wallach, and Van Cleef was really the product of rejection, reshuffling, and luck. Sometimes the greatest performances exist only because another actor walked away. 14. A pop hit from the Wild West. In 1968, 2 years after the film's release, Ennio Morricone's theme crossed into mainstream radio thanks to Hugo Montenegro's cover version. With twanging ocarinas, Moog synthesizers, and human whistles, Montenegro's take turned a spaghetti western score into a Billboard phenomenon. It climbed to number 2 on the Hot 100, kept from the top only by Simon & Garfunkel's Mrs. Robinson. For weeks, 2 of America's biggest hits were movie songs. What began as background music became a pop anthem, heard by millions who never saw the film. Audiences thought it was just a Western theme. In truth, it became one of the most recognizable pieces of music on Earth, proof that cinema can leak into culture in the most unexpected ways. 15. The unscripted dog that stole a scene. Few directors embraced chaos like Leone. When Tuco frantically searched the cemetery for Confederate gold, Leone feared the scene was tipping into melodrama. His solution? He released a stray dog onto the set without telling Wallach. The animal dashed through the graves, forcing Wallach to break character for a fleeting moment of shock. The surprise is genuine, the confusion authentic. That raw second grounded the hysteria, keeping the sequence from feeling staged. Viewers assumed the dog was metaphor, a planned symbol of wildness. It wasn't. It was Leone's instinct, pure and unfiltered. Cinema didn't just capture performance here. It captured accident. Life intruding into myth. That dog wasn't a prop. It was fate, running loose across the lens. 16. Sergio Leone spoke no English. The man directing one of the greatest American westerns couldn't speak a word of English. Sergio Leone relied on translators for every instruction to Clint Eastwood and Lee Van Cleef. But with Eli Wallach, he found common ground. Both spoke rough French. That private language bonded them, letting Wallach argue, improvise, and joke directly with the director. Tuco, not Blondie, became Leone's most expressive character because of this channel. Eastwood and Van Cleef received instructions filtered through an interpreter. Wallach heard the man himself. What audiences thought was Tuco's natural chaos was, in fact, a direct reflection of Leone's unfiltered vision. The outlaw had the director's ear, and that intimacy echoes in every twitch, every grin, every furious outburst. 17. The bridge explosion rewrite. The rebuilt bridge didn't just solve a problem, it shaped the story. Originally, Leone wanted a quick demolition, a blink-and-you-miss-it blast. But after the accident forced reconstruction, he decided to amplify the spectacle. Multiple camera angles were staged, slow pans were planned, and the editing lingered on the destruction. The sequence grew from practical necessity. What was once a background beat became centerpiece cinema. Audiences thought they were seeing deliberate epic design. The truth? They were seeing Leone improvise under pressure, making art from disaster. That bridge stands as proof. Sometimes accidents detonate into masterpieces. 18. The hidden car of history. Sharp-eyed fans love spotting it. A car cutting across the horizon in the cemetery duel. But beyond continuity error, it's a symbol. Leone fought for control of his sprawling Spanish locations, but roads were still open to traffic. A modern vehicle infiltrated the 1860s West, a tiny invasion of reality into fiction. Leone left it because reshooting would drain budget and energy. What audiences saw as mythic timelessness was, in truth, porous. History bleeding into modernity. That car became more than mistake. It became a cinematic ghost, a reminder that no set is truly sealed off from time. 19th. A Roman arena for gunslingers. Leone's cemetery wasn't a random field of crosses. It was engineered spectacle. Spanish soldiers shaped it as if it were Rome's Colosseum, tiered for visibility, circular for tension. Leone wanted the audience of the dead watching the duel as though it were gladiatorial combat. Morricone's score even mimicked laughter from beneath the soil, the sound of corpses applauding. Audiences thought they were seeing a Western finale. What they were really seeing was ancient Rome reborn in dust and stone. The duel wasn't cowboy versus outlaw. It was gladiators beneath the gaze of eternity. 20th. Eastwood's almost exit changed cinema. Eastwood's threat to quit forced Leone to reconsider balance. To soothe him, Leone emphasized Blondie's silent gravitas in editing. He trimmed Tuco's chatter, tightened Blondie's gaze, and shot close-ups that carved Eastwood into myth. If Eastwood hadn't complained, Blondie might have remained overshadowed, swallowed by Tuco's manic brilliance. Instead, his silence grew louder, iconic. Audiences thought they saw an actor effortlessly legendary. Behind the lens, they saw a star refusing to be minimized. It wasn't Leone's design alone. It was Eastwood's defiance that built the man with no name into legend. Bonus fact: Wallach's train of death. The most terrifying accident of all happened in silence. In the chain-breaking scene, Tuco lay flat on the tracks as a train roared overhead. Nobody warned Wallach that each car carried iron steps jutting from the sides. Had he lifted his head a single inch, one of those steps would have decapitated him instantly. The crew stood frozen, powerless, as tons of steel thundered past. Wallach later joked about his luck, but the truth is chilling. One instinctive flinch and Tuco would have died on camera. What audiences thought was controlled stunt work was actually a brush with death captured in real time. The train didn't just pass over Tuco. It passed over the thin line between cinema and tragedy. The good, the bad, and the ugly wasn't just a Western. It was a war zone disguised as art. Actors dodged death, bridges collapsed twice. Music rewrote filmmaking, and chance itself shaped what became myth. Behind every iconic shot lies chaos barely contained. That's why the film endures. Not for its perfection, but for its imperfection, its danger, its humanity. If you loved uncovering these secrets, hit like and subscribe. Because in cinema, just like Tuco says, when you have to shoot, shoot. Don't talk.